Come on.
Leadership. Selesai page. Leadership. Hello. Halo. Leadership. Halo.
Hello.
Leadership. Hello. Hello.
Hello bhuti.
Hayi unjani?
Ngiyaphila unjani bhuti?
Ngiyaphila. Nami ngisemakhaya la u-leadership stipe akangizwa mina.
Hayibo.
Ngisemakhaya nami lapho. Yabona ngiphezu kwehlahla lapho ngoba i-network ayikho tu. Yabona ukuthi ngisemakhaya nje.
Ngiyabona.
So ngeke ngihlale isikhathi eside.
Ne.
Mr. Sipey.
Mina. No. Mina ngise just ngine-flu.
Oh, okay. It's understandable.
Good.
Yeah, akuzolunga.
Yeah, kuyolunga. I'm waiting for Pastor Mavuso to connect.
Oh, okay. Let's hope it will connect in time.
Yeah, because when I check.
Okay. Thank you for inviting more. Nami ngimsendele.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll check.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Chairperson. Chair. Mr. Sipey. Hi. Mr. Motong.
Okay. Greetings.
Chair.
Just do this.
Chair. How are you?
Greetings, colleagues. Greetings, fellow friends and friends of SALGC.
Mr. Sipey, hi, sir. Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
I just check? Can I just check if? Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Baba, but it seems like you can't hear us well. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can't hear you, Mr. Nkosi, but let me try if I can. Okay. I'm not sure if Sehloho is here. I know that I've spoken to him earlier on. Mr. Nkosi, can you just check in the chat room if in the waiting room if Sehloho is available.
I'm not co-chairing, so I don't have the ability to check. I'm not the co-hosting.
I'm battling with my microphones here. Let me see if I can. Leadership, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Leadership, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can't hear anything here. Oh.
Mr. Klaba, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you, leadership. I'm just trying to see. Let me just call in the meantime that Sehloho to just join in if he has not. I know that he indicated the trouble with his code. Friends, apologies, we just sorting out a bit of technicalities here. Our speaker that Sehloho was unable to log in. I think there was issues with the passcode, but we're trying to come in. We're trying to assist so that he can join in. All right, Ntate Sehloho is about to join. Okay. Let me cut you then, Doc. Let's go. Ah, there you go. I can see you. Okay. Okay. Yes. Let me cut the call then. Where is it? All right. Thank you ever so much. Thank you, Ntate Sehloho, and apologies once again. Marangrang, the load shedding. It's a mix. It's a bag full of mix issues, but we are here. We are able now to can maybe start and converse on the discussion. Let me once again send our appreciation to all of you who have managed to enable yourself to come in and to really allow us to be with you this afternoon so that we can engage and we can converse on matters that will enhance ourselves as a community, as parents, as men in the community, to be better in provision of our expected duties as well as guide as men. Maybe let me, before I take any further, indicate who we are as an organization. This organization is called SALGC. It is South African Leadership Gentlemen's Club. This organization, it is envisioned from the 5 pillars that guards its existence. In that the 5 pillars are talking to one, restoration of dignity of those that we live with. It talks to the renewal in mind to always want to learn and develop each other so that we find ourselves in a space where we are equitably understanding of what is happening or what is around us. Thirdly, it talks to the principle of reutilization, or at least the utilization of our facilities, of our resources, of land, and having a good relationship with land where we are able to then sustain ourselves, whether by planting, whether by using the land, that the patch of land that we have to the best ability that we can sustain ourselves. Fourthly, it talks to the intent to want to also rally along and bring youth into a path where they are looked after. A nation without youth, or a nation that is able to look after its youth capacity, it's a nation that will always struggle because there isn't any future. So we pride ourselves that one of our pillars is to really look into seeing that we motivate and we cultivate youth to be disciplined and to really take up the necessary place where they need to be. The fifth one is to place the local business as well as local and the developments in terms of technology, to say we need to be versed in terms of localizing or supporting our local business, as well as being geared to move with the times. Hence, the opportunity now to engage with you through this platform called Zoom. This, in a gist, ladies and gentlemen, is what stands, or what SALGC stands for. And so we really are quite excited and happy to be here, to also to engage and to really empower each other through the topic that we'll be discussing when Tate Sehloho will be talking to us about. Let me take the opportunity then to introduce our speaker, which is Tate Sehloho, Dr. Sehloho. We thank you ever so much, sir, for the opportunity, by the way, to have seen it important that you come through, sir, and you elevate ourselves through this kind of discussion. Ntate Sehloho, if I were to read your bio, it says Ntate Sehloho is a married man. Dr. Sehloho is a family man. He has been married over 32 years. He believes that a happy and loving family is a backbone of a strong leadership. I do not want to go against that. I hope fully and I fully agree with that statement. He is an MBA graduate and he holds a doctorate degree. He has extensive experience as an educator, a trainer of entrepreneurs. He has combined experience of over 30 years as an entrepreneur and a social entrepreneur. He has helped in the establishment of churches, community development projects, and setting up training of small business. Dr. Sehloho is a certified life coach through BTS, LCS, Empowerment, and Academy by offering training and coaching to leaders. Welcome, Tate Sehloho, and we are forever indebted and having a pleasure of having you among us to enlighten us, to share with us on the said topic that has been placed, the purpose of us as men. And talking about that, I know for the fact that it is a deep, or rather a vast topic to cover, but indeed that is what the understanding is. We really need to go deep. We really need to be seen to look out, or at least define as much as possible, so that we are well equipped, sir. And I hope that those that have joined will also be as excited as I am. Welcome, Tate Sehloho. If you can have your mic on, and Tate Sehloho. Let me see if I can help there. Unmute. Oh. Let's see if we can help. Where's the mute button?
Unmute.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
All right, all right. Do you hear me now?
Very well, sir. Very well, very well. We hear you
Okay,
loud. Tate Sehloho, we really are excited, sir. And as I indicated that I had to rush out from home and catch a parking bay somewhere so that I can be able to host as planned. I do know that there is load shedding happening in my area, but we are glad that we are here now. Tate Sehloho, I would like to give you the opportunity then, sir, to address us insofar as that topic that we have placed onto you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. No, let me take this opportunity to thank the leadership of SALGC for awarding me the opportunity to be here. You know, to me, it's a very great honor. Whenever I'm given an opportunity to speak to people, whether they are two or whether they are three, I really utilize the opportunity. I'm not even moved by a number, but whatever souls are there, whatever number of souls is there, I always try to do my best. And I also want to thank men and boys who are here to be part of this exciting journey, and also to the partners of SALGC who are there. I really appreciate that you have set aside time and be here to listen to this leadership lecture.
Nice.
Okay, as you know, I've already been introduced. You know, my background is a theologian. My background is a theologian. Although I did MBA, most of my work for all 32 years, I've been a pastor and servicing entrepreneurs and training people was, you know, something like my side hustle. But at the end of the day, it became my passion. And hence I made a decision to continue and do MBA, and at the later stage obtain my doctorate. Okay, let me make things clear. First and foremost, let me make a disclaimer. Yeah, I'm not representing my church. I don't want stones to be thrown at my church, any religious sector, or even SALGC for that matter. But I'm here on my own capacity because I feel this is a topic that is close to my heart. Yeah, there was a time when I thought only reading the Bible and winning souls to heaven was my main job. Till one day I realized otherwise, that man is a whole being, is a body, soul, and spirit. And then it takes more than just ministering to a soul to win people to the Lord. So that's why I empowered myself, and I did many other things that enabled me to be where I am today. Now, yeah, the other thing which I would like to say today, I like us to, in order for us to find this presentation fruitful and beneficial, I like us to use the words or the wisdom from a Soto code, which says, "Banna batintshana tshiya."
Nice.
Banna batintshana tshiya.
Yes.
It means men advise and empower each other.
Nice.
We really need organizations like this. We really need meetings like this. We really need sittings like this, where we sit down as men to empower each other, to show us a direction. And you know, I was inspired by the work of SALGC and this invitation of today. Let me tell you what happened yesterday. I met a man, he was beating a girl. Usually when I see such incident, I just look and pass and say, well, it's none of my business. Anyway, people don't listen. But, you know, I was so bold enough to stop my car and talk to the guy and ask the guy a simple question: does it worth it that tomorrow you will be in jail because of beating this girl? Does it worth it that tomorrow you will be called a murderer? You know, and that guy stopped after I said that to him. And, you know, I've never felt such a great happiness. You know, I've never felt such a great happiness. I think for the first time in my life, you know, being able to confront a person. You know, as a preacher, I'm always comfortable to speak to the crowd, but, you know, to talk to people individually, sometimes it's not easy, but I was able to confront that. I remember our mandate. I remember what we are going to do here to empower each other as men. You know, as men, we are leaders. You know, that is our God-given mandate. It's not by accident that you are a leader. And regardless of the labels and the stereotypes that are attached to men, men, we need to rise up. Men, we need to lift up our socks. Men, we need to remember who we are. God gave us that position with a purpose. We are here to lead. We are here to guide. We are leaders. And leadership starts now, does not start tomorrow. Correct. And leadership starts at your little corner. You know, that little difference that you make at home, if you are a father, if you are a brother, or at workplace, that little, you know, difference that you make. I know that most of us, we are waiting to be leaders. We are waiting for someone to appoint us. We are waiting for people that we will lead. But let me tell you that as men, as boys, you are born leader. We need to cultivate that. And that is your God-given purpose and your God-given responsibility. So if you want to realize the power of that, start in your little corner. Start one step at a time. You will really see that there is great potential inside you. Okay, let me go back to the topic that I've been given. I've been requested by SALGC to address the third pillar of the organization, rebuilding relationships with resources, communities, land, and money. Indeed, it is not an easy topic to talk about, and easy topic to address, lest you step at someone's toes and the opportunities which were awaiting you, you lose just because of this presentation. But let me say to you today, I want you to understand the angle from which I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk from a prophetic voice, angle of a prophetic voice. What do I mean by angle of prophetic voice? I'm not going to talk about big cars, big houses, revealing people's secret. I don't mean that by a prophetic voice. I mean a voice that is not afraid to confront the truth and injustice and speaks with authority.
Yep.
Did you get that? It is not the matter of what I can do, but it is the matter of what you are doing and what it will do to you. The matter of what you are doing and what you will do to you. In most cases, the reason why most of us are afraid to confront the truth and injustice, the question that we ask ourselves is this: if this person can ask me, who are you? What will I say? What can you do to me? What will I say? So today is not a matter of what I can do to any person who is practicing injustice there. It's not a matter of what I can do, but it's the matter of what that injustice can do to you, the perpetrator. And the other thing, as you have already said, that I've also been in ministry for over 32 years. I'm going also to talk from kingdom perspective, which is the premise that God is sovereign and that is the ruler of universe and that is in control of all. That is, I've come to a place, formerly, my God used to stay in the church. Yeah, God's anointing was only limited to ministerial work like preaching. I've outgrown that.
Nice.
And God that I serve is no longer locked into the church. He's God of the universe.
Correct.
God works even in people who do not realize that they are working. He's using them. And God can use everybody or every person to further the agenda of the kingdom. So I no longer defend and represent the church, but I'm here to represent the kingdom of God.
Nice.
I'm here to represent the kingdom of God. And to me, the kingdom of God is beyond any particular religion. It's not really limited to any particular religion. God's kingdom affects the whole of his nature. So I'm talking from that point, and I'm not talking only in defense of a particular religion, but I'm talking in defense of God's kingdom. So that is thank you. I'll try to do the best that one can do in trying to address this topic. Yes, I'm going to look at our mandate of mobilizing resources, challenges of mobilizing resources, opportunities for mobilizing resources, innovative solution for resource management in Africa, and our response. So I'm going to talk about mobilizing resources for a better Africa, but being guided by the third pillar of the organization, rebuilding relationships with our communities, land and money. So there is this quote, it says, in Africa, on the other hand, resource-rich countries have not yet been able to fully use their resources to bring in money for the government. Now, if we have to revisit our main topic, mobilizing resources for Africa, there is this crucial question which one needs to pose. If Africa is rich in resources, why are its people poor? This is a very important question that we need to ask ourselves. Now, one of Africa's greatest resources are its people. Make no mistake in that, CP. One of Africa's greatest resources are its people. Why do I regard Africa's people as its greatest resource? Is because Africa's people are full of Ubuntu, are full of warmth, and are still forgiving and determined to redefine themselves, even though we have been subject of negative narrative and we have went through political oppression and economic deprivation. Let me quote what the late Dr. Tibani said. The late Dr. Tibani once said, poverty is not lack of resources, but lack of utilization of available resources. From the analysis of the above statement, we learn that poverty is a lack of access to resources. It is a fact to all of us. It is what we all know and what we see, that as Africans, particularly blacks, in 1994, what happened in our country, we received a political freedom, not economic freedom. So majority of Africans still lack access to the land. It is true that the government has done something through BBEE to try to narrow the gap between the poor and the rich, or those who have not and those who have. But there is a study which I was reading, which says the guy was asking a simple question: is BBEE reality, or is it really a reality to all of us? Now, in that study, what was found is that yes, BBEE has made a difference, but it has produced few elites in our country. It has produced few elites in our country. And some of the things, I may not want to say them, we all know, because most of the things, they happen before us, under our notes, we see them. So let me go back to the statement of Dr. Tibani, that poverty is the lack of access to resources and lack of proper utilization of resources. Now, when we analyze this further, we can come to the conclusion that poverty is the result of imposed system and a lack of taking responsibility on utilizing the available resources. So Yeah, I think that is what we need to know, that what we need to look at from in our introduction. Now, when we look at our mandate in regard to the resources that has been given unto us, I like what was said on the poster that men, remember thy God-given purpose. Remember thy God-given purpose. So I will quote from the book of books, Genesis, from Genesis 2, 5, and 7 and 8, as well as Genesis 2:15. Now, we read that when God made the earth and heavens, neither the wild plants nor grains were growing on the earth, for the Lord God had not yet sent rain to the water, the earth, and there were no people to cultivate the soil. And the second one, it says, then the Lord God placed man in the Garden of Eden to tend and watch it. I'm going back to the purpose. Why are we here? God placed us here to tend and watch over the earth, this environment, the land. And then there is also verse Psalm 24, it says, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and its people belong to him. Now, and the last verse is of 2 Timothy, of the book of Timothy, which says, I urge you first of all to pray for all people and ask God to help them, intercede on their behalf, and give thanks for them. Pray this way for kings. I like you to underline this. Pray this way for kings and all who are in authority, so that we can all live peaceful and quiet lives marked by godliness and dignity. This is good and pleases God. Now, when we analyze the above 3 or 4 scriptures, we come to this analysis. God is the creator. The world is God's creation. Human beings are the stewards of God's creation. God has given us, we are the steward of God's creation. Now, one may ask, why are you quoting the Bible? What is the purpose of all this? Is this an evangelistic campaign? No, no, certainly not. The purpose of this is not to convert anyone, but to conscientize godly leaders to consider godly leadership and to tell them that their days are numbered. God is God of the oppressed and the marginalized. And to challenge Christians who are ignoring their God-given mandate to better their world. In most cases, most of us, we were of the belief that to be a Christian, we were born again in order to go to heaven. I was in a certain conference. A very important question was asked. We were there as leaders, pastors, and Bible college leaders. And a simple question was posed. Is the church still relevant today? Is the church still relevant today? I know in most cases, and formally, we are taught that our main responsibility was win souls to heaven. But as I've already said, that man is a total being. Man is not only a spirit, it's a body, soul, and it's a body, soul, and spirit. Now, this is very much important now. We are not just here as Christian or as the church to do our work and then go to heaven. When things become tough and difficult, and pray, oh, Jesus, when will you come? But we have a mandate here on earth. Remember, I'm talking to boys and men. Men are leaders. and leaders are problem solvers. We are here not to run away from problems. We are here to solve problems. Now, my reason for starting first from this angle, it is because the majority of our people in Africa or in South Africa are Christians. So if we try to mobilize all other people and leave out this important group, we will not have done justice to our work. So I would like to say to my fellow brothers, fellow Christians, that caring for the downtrodden and upliftment of the poor and those who find themselves experiencing injustice is not just a good thing, but it is part of our moral obligation. It is part of our moral obligation. So it's not just a good thing to do. So let us look further on the third point here, challenges for mobilizing resources. Let us go back to the question that I've posed, which says, if Africa is rich in mineral resources, why are the majority of its people poor? In my dissertation, there is a discovery which I made in my dissertation. The title of my dissertation was Perspective of Leadership Perspective, Perspective on African Leadership and Economic Transformation. Joe, I realized that African problems is more than what meets the eye. There is a lot that we need to do. And there are two things that are very crucial when I try to answer the question, if Africa is rich in natural resources, why are its people still poor? One of the arguments which was raised when, which I encountered in my study, is that get the leadership of Africa right, and you will get its economy right. Get the leadership of Africa right, and you will get the economy of Africa right. Now, in my study, I did comparative study. I tried also to look at some of the countries in Africa which fare well in leadership, which had good leadership, which were considered very good. The frustrating thing that I found out is that even though there were those countries which considered to have had good leadership, their good leadership did not turn into people's economic prosperity. Do you understand? Their good leadership did not turn into people's economic prosperity. I think that is what is frustrating our people. We say, let us find good leaders. Let us find strategies and ways to grow the economy. It shall be well. The problem with the system imposed on the world by the West, this system, this is how it works. The rich become richer. The poor become poorer. Even sometimes we find ourselves experiencing good economic growth. There was also a certain man who made a study around Boma 90, there he said there was something which was discovered, which is really disturbing in Africa. He says, even in some places where the economy was growing, that still did not turn into people's economic prosperity. When the economy grows, the gap still becomes bigger. That is the problem. So that is our challenge number one. Wealth inequality. We have poverty in society with inequality. Wealth is still concentrated in the hands of the few people. That is our challenge number one. Our challenge number two, in order to bring development, in order to take Africa further, we need skilled people. And there is this, what we call, when I was still at school, the criteria for awarding bursaries. I think most of you remember what was it? It was the scarce skill. If you are doing a career considered scarce skill. But you know what is our problem with Africa? People who are in these careers considered scarce skills. Instead of getting them in their hands, instead of them helping us to develop the country, we have a problem of brain drain, migration of people from Africa. You know, that is one other challenge, which is hampering us and destabilizing us and making it hard and impossible for us to mobilize the resources that we have as a country. So because of brain drain, we are losing the best of Africa's talent. We are losing it to develop world. Our challenge number three is there is this concept of borderless Africa. I know some are against it because of the problems that we are already experiencing in our country, which we think we are experiencing them because of the foreigners. The problem that we are experiencing, this is what I want to say to the Africans. The problem that we are experiencing in our country, which we are ascribing to our fellow Africans, it is a system problem. It is a problem that was created for us. It does not solely depend on the moving of other Africans moving to another African country. The problem does not only emanate from that. The problem is deeper than that. So now, in my study, there is a chapter which I've entitled Towards Borderless Africa. In that chapter, I'm focusing on the free movement of goods, services, and people. Now, what I have found out in the study is that there is a restriction. There is a restriction of us Africans moving from one country to the other. The restriction is more tough on us. I don't know if there is anyone who have a different view to that, but that is what I found in my study, that the the restriction imposed on Africans to move to other African countries is tough on us, the inhabitants, on us, the citizen, on us, the owners of the land, done on the outsiders. Do you know why they are moving freely? They are considered as investors. We say the investors have come. Investors have come. Pave the way, give the way. We are going to have job opportunities. Pave the way. Now, so that is the problem. So I still advocate for a borderless Africa, as Dr. Sehloho. Number 3, we come far as Africa from slave trade, colonialism, so on and so forth. That's where we come from. So what did this do to us? What did this do to us? We have emotional scars. We have bleeding scars. I know there is this saying which say, we'll never get the thing of working together right and moving this continent right. Why? Because of the bleeding scars and the emotional scars, there is a mistrust. As Africans, we have that emotional sensitivity to each other. We are sensitive towards each other. Let an African just say a small wrong thing, we are on to him. You are on to him. Like here, you see now I'm here, and I'm using the Queen's language, a foreign language. You know, I'm a doctor, and then if you know, I can confuse the he and the she. They will start to say, "Bona," he says he's a doctor, but he cannot even speak fluently. And do you know what happened when I was at the Bible College? One time when we were at the Bible College, we had a meeting with the student from Pretoria University. We had doctors, students who were doing doctorates, and some who were medical doctors. They could not express themselves. White people, I'm not talking of blacks, white people, they could not express themselves fluently in English. But some of them were doctors. They were doing doctorates. But no one was blaming them. No one was saying to them, see, they are doctors, but they cannot even speak proper English. Where did they get their doctorate? But with us, you know, sure, we still have that syndrome of pull him down syndrome. Now, let's get to the 4th one. I think it's just the 4th section before the last one. Opportunities for mobilizing resources. Opportunities for mobilizing resources. Joe, Africa is a rich country, particularly in as far as agriculture is concerned, tourism is concerned. Most of the continents desire to have what we have. I don't know if whether majority of us understand that. Most of the continents, they desire to have what we have, although they do not say it to us. A fertile and good land for agriculture. Now, in as far as agriculture is concerned, I know it's frustrating when we talk about agriculture, because majority of us will just think about commercial farming. As I've already said, that one of the greatest problems which we are facing as African is lack of access to the land. I'm talking about the land. Majority of the Africans still do not have access to the land. You only have a pisana of a small piece of land. I remember when we were in Kwakwa, Ndadesipe, you know, the city was so big. The city was so big. But when we were allocated the site, we are allocated as a big site, but at a place full of rocks and stones, full of rocks and stones. The other good place was reserved for people who were already in business, even though it was not used. But we're given size to that. I remember, but that did not deter us in doing development in that piece of land. That did not deter us in doing development in that small piece of land. So majority of us have a small piece of land. Now, the reason why we cannot do something about the small piece of land is because we are thinking of what we have been deprived. Hori, see now the big land, the big chunk of the cake has been given to the people of the color. And when we cannot utilize the little space that we have been given optimally. What we did, because the place was big, there was a place where we built a house, and in other places, we dig out the stones, and after digging out the stones, there were still stones beneath. But we'll use the spade to take the soil from the other place and gather the soil to one place so that we may have a place big enough to plant. So we're able to plant throughout the year. We're able to plant spinach, cabbage, tomatoes, beans, you know, you name them. Because during that time, we used to eat meat only twice in a month. Twice in a month. Now, if we would not come up with a plan for whole 3 weeks, Papaka party, they call it droogpap. You know, you'll just use salt and water or sugar and water just to, you know, to eat porridge. That is what you used to do during our time. So we are forced to think, we are forced to do something about the small piece of land that we have. If some of us have that skill of Googling, I think 2 weeks ago, I was looking at a program called TED. I saw a woman from Ghana, who said he comes from a family where at his husband's place, there were more than 40. So when their father died, a father had a piece of land. So because he had a lot of children, he gave to each of his children smallanyana piece. That is what was their inheritance. But I was surprised of what that woman did in a very small space. small piece of land. You know, he's using containers, tires, and the land, that small piece of land continues to become productive throughout the year. And he has even opened a school in that small piece of land where he teach small children and elderly people about agriculture. They are so crazy about the idea. They are so crazy about the idea. They have grabbed the vision. So, to men and boys, we don't need to be angry and become despair because of the situation that we find ourselves in right now. Let us, we have some of our children who have been in agricultural college. Let us sit down with them. Let us use them. Let us bring them on board. Let them give us knowledge on what we can do with a small piece of land. I've seen that people can do wonders with a small piece of land. And the other thing is tourism. Now, one of the great things that we can benefit from as African is tourism. Tourism needs creativity. Because we consider ourselves westernized and civilized, some of the things which could add value to our tourism sector, we have abandoned them. Artwork and that, artwork, African artwork. Do you know people from outside, when they arrive here, they are not attracted to buy things which they can manufacture better there. But when they come, they arrive here in Africa, they are interested in buying our things, cultural objects. We have lost touch to that. We have abandoned that. We have abandoned that as Africans. Let us go back to our grandies. Let us go back to our grandies. Let them teach us all these things. And then let us also identify small places that we can develop and make them into places of tourist attraction. And the other thing, opportunity that we have in Africa is mining. We need to prepare ourselves to have shareholding in mining sector. And we also need to prepare ourselves to own some mine. And another opportunity exists in real estate. There is opportunity in residential properties and commercial properties. I was shocked one time to realize that even some of our literate people, educated people, they think in order for you to start a property business, you need millions of rand. I'm also an entrepreneur. I do run property business. I manage 42 apartments. I did not start that with big money. But I started that with a good money management skill. Money, did you get that? Good money management skill is, I did not start that business with a lot of money. Many people, because who know my background, who know where I come from, they think that it's very lotto. Maybe I've acquired millions somewhere. Property business is one business that you can sometimes be able to start with nothing or with a really minimum investment. I know there is also what you call opportunity in commercial properties. There are government entities which give money to Black-owned enterprises to acquire shareholding in white enterprises. The fifth one is sector and technology. Information sector and technology. Now, one other opportunity which we are having as Africa, I want our young people to listen carefully. One other opportunity which we are having as Africa is an opportunity in information sector and technology. Opportunity in information sector and technology. Our children, if they can, dear listeners, if they can Google, if they can make researches, there are institutions which are offering free online courses, even Google, which can empower them with science and technology skill. And after what we call COVID-19, the trend towards most of the business are moving, it is the trend of online. You can see that many businesses are online. So there is opportunity in starting online businesses. There is opportunity in providing the information, providing information, selling information. If you are a coach, for instance, if you are a coach, do you know what you are selling if you are a coach? Do you know what you are selling? You are selling information. You are selling information. We have various expertise. Many people with various expertise are frustrated, particularly our young people, that they cannot get employment. You know, I stay a long time without work, even though I had a lot of education. I did a diploma, I did PGCE, I did MBA, but still I could not find a job. Do you understand? There was a time at one stage where I was doing, I think, close to 5 jobs at it in one day. And I came home, I spoke to my wife, I cried like a child. I said to my wife, I can't bear this anymore. I can't bear this anymore. That is what stirred the spirit of entrepreneurship in me. There was also a time, it was during December, in a particular assembly, which I cannot mention by name. It was during Christmas. As a pastor, I was given 10 rand. I was given 10 rand. It was my salary for December. From that 10 rand, I had to buy clothes to go to the conference and also pay for transport and also buy my family Christmas food. Do you understand? So information sector and technology, there are vast opportunity in that area. I can help. Even my company, we are offering self-development programs as well as information technology courses. This can be done by individuals as well as the companies. Yeah. Now, now we are about to conclude now. Yeah. One of the biggest problem after we have had the challenges, we have had the opportunity. Really, there is this question, but where are we going to get money? But where are we going to get money? You know, sometimes, as I've said to you, that I've been a trainer of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Let me give hope to some of us young people who are here. How I started my first business with my spouse. I was in a farm, staying in a farm. I was a pastor in a farm, but I was getting a very little money. From that little money, I was supposed to feed my family, my wife and my 2 children, as well as my family, because my father had passed on. The family of 10 people. So the salary which I was getting was very little. Do you know what my wife did? My wife opened the grocery cupboard. He took out everything which he does not use. The old cups, the old teaspoons, the old pots, everything that is old. And then he also opened our wardrobe. Everything that had been in our wardrobe that have not been utilized for a long time. We took all those things and then we put them in our buggy and we went to the nearby farms. And that is how we raised the money for our business. That is how we raised the money for our business. And with the money which we raised from that business, I was able to buy my first car. I was using the car of farm owner because I was a pastor in a farm. I was using his car. So there was a problem with this car because it was the car of a Basmos. Everybody had access to it. And unfortunately, I did not have a car. So as a pastor, I was using it in most of the time. So, but when other people wanted to have access, the owner would say, Vincent, will you please give so-and-so, he has a funeral or a wedding or what? And in that weekend, I was unable to go anywhere because the town was 5 kilometers away from the farm. So it was 1 hour walking distance. Do you understand? So I decided that I want to buy this car, which was given to me to use for God's work in the farm. I decided that I'm going to buy this, I'm going to make it my own. And the farm owner was surprised one day when I said, I want to buy your car. He was surprised because he knows he was giving me little money, which it was only enough to feed my family and my parents. So, but he said, do you have money? I said, no, I can give you 7.5 right now. And next month I can give you another 2.5. He was shocked. And that did not give him even a chance to say no. He said, yes, he agreed. And I gave him 7,500 instantly. And next month I was able to give him the remaining 2,500. And now I was able to do my business freely. Sure, as Africans, we must start to learn to think outside the box.
Yeah.
You need to think outside the box. So, okay, let me explain these few concepts that can enable us to access money. The first one, cooperatives.
Yeah.
We need to start to respect the issue of community cooperatives. I've been involved in cooperatives for a long time. As I said, I've been a trainer of entrepreneurs and help in establishment of the cooperatives. Cooperatives were doing a very good job in that they were able to create employment. But the only problem with cooperatives people were only depending on funding to establish and to run their cooperatives. They do not want to contribute anything. And as a result, people had this tendency. Government, it's not your money. and they will abscond from and absent themselves from the work and not be committed.
Yeah.
And 2 years, 3 years down the line, the cooperative will collapse. But if we can revisit the same concept of cooperatives, mobilize resources as a community. 10 rand, 10 rand, 50 rand, 50 rand, and start to gather money. And there will be that sense of entitlement and ownership. Anything that you did not pay price for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a principle. I've seen it even as a coach. You know, I've tried to help so many people. And I've offered free trainings. I've offered free coaching. But people were so bold to abandon a free coaching because they were free to absent themselves because they don't feel a pain. Yeah. Although you have set aside time solely for them.
Yeah.
But they don't consider that as important. So we need to revisit the concept of cooperatives. Maybe there are people among us here who are expect, of which I'm also grateful for them, who can help us, who can bring input when we come to these cooperatives. I have helped in establishment and running of cooperatives. I've seen their advantages and disadvantages, but I still believe that it is still a way to go. Yep. And the other one is of crowdfunding. Why we can't raise a fund by looking at one person who has a business concept and contribute something, just donating, just giving to that person. The other one, there is this a popular concept that we have been using for a long time, the concept of stokvel. I want us to revisit it today. Do you know what is the purpose of the money for stokvel? Yep. Most of us, we are able to raise tens of thousands to stokvel. And we never realize the power which is there in stokvel money. Because most of us, we raise that money for Christmas.
Yeah.
To buy dozens and dozens of bottles of beers. To buy plenty food. To buy plenty clothes. And to such an extent that the majority of our Africans, we think that stokvels are only for Christmas. And most of our parents, our brothers and sisters, They deny themselves the pleasure of living nice and comfortably during the year.
Yeah.
To the stokvels,
Mm.
only to waste it in one day.
Yeah.
Through stokvels, Africans, men, boys, are you listening? Through stokvels, we can buy each other cars.
Mm.
Through stokvels, we can build each other's houses. Through stokvels, we can start business. We can contribute a startup fund for each other. The first month, we give you money, you start your business. The second month is another person. The process goes on and on. And the other one, we cannot deny the role which is played by the NPOs, the role that is played by the NPOs in our development. Joe, I'm challenging all people who are here because I'm also running an NGO, but in my NGO, we run a soup kitchen. Okay. We provide meals to children between 80 and 100, Monday to Friday. So a soup kitchen play a very important role. They minimize hunger because many children which could have been there in the street because of this soup kitchen. My soup kitchen has been running for the last 19 years. One day, one woman called us. One woman called us and we were surprised. Why is this woman calling us? You cannot believe what that woman did. He showed us a house. He said, Murut, today I'm here to thank you for your soup kitchen. My children were eating at your soup kitchen once a day with this money of grants. With this money of grants and my pension. That's what I built. It helped me to build this house. She's the only person that who ever called me in these 19 years that I've run this NPO. There is only one person who called me and showed me the wonders that this NGO did for her. The last one, the problem is lack of access of money. And one of the reasons we have a problem of lack of access of money is power of budgeting and banking your money. Power of budgeting and banking your money. Now, I'm saying this to advertise the hustlers, those who are saying we run a small business. Yeah. If you want to see value, if you want to see that even your business as a street vendor is powerful, do one thing. Number one, do budgeting. In my company, I also offer that course in budgeting and financial management and planning. Do budgeting and make a category of your expenses and your income. And also bank your money. Don't use your money as it comes. Put it first in the bank and use it from your card and track where have your expenses gone. In conclusion, there are three things that I want us to look at. In order for us to overcome the problem of small scarcity of resources, this lack of resources, either be a land, communities, and money, we need to change our mindset. We need to have a right mindset. We need to have a right mindset. As long as we believe already we are born in poverty and we are going to die poor. And as long as you are waiting for a savior to take you out of poverty, let me tell you, no one is going to take you out of poverty but yourself. This is a mindset that we need to develop. We must, the problem of Africa, particularly land, access to land and utilization of land, is so big that, you know, I don't know how many viewers are here, to such an extent that when you talk about this, some they say, you know, they've started to lie to us again, because the problem is so big. Is so big. It's the mere fact that it is big, that must not discourage us.
Yes.
We must believe that in order to finish an elephant, what do we need to do? One piece at a time.
Yes.
One piece at a time. Africans, one piece at a time. And the second one is, in my conclusion, collaboration. The problem of better Africa cannot be solved if we tackle it individually and in silos. We must find a way of working together and put our differences. Our surprise, one time there was a promotion online of a book. I think one book. I think one day I downloaded one ebook 20 times. I was not aware it was one book because it was promoted by different companies, white companies. You know, people of other color, the reason why they succeed, they collaborate, they work together. But us as Africans, we don't believe in collaboration. We like to compete and to work in isolation. There is power in collaboration. Let me give you an example. Those of you who are learning, who are listening. One of the strategy which I have learned in my journey of training the entrepreneurs is the strategy of collaboration. In most cases, we have been taught to compete. Whenever I see you, I see you as my competitor. And whenever I see you, I want to eliminate you. I want to crush your business. And that is what is causing us to fail, particularly as Black entrepreneurs. People of other colors, they collaborate. I was surprised that more than 20 different books, companies were promoting one book. Do you know what encouraged them to promote it? Those enterprises, they were not selling that product. They had their own product, but they were promoting the product of another enterprise. Why? Because they were not using each other, but they were benefiting from each other's success. Because there was a percentage which was given for distribution. So let me give you an example. For instance, if we start a business, let's say here in Dalarevi, as Black people, one thing which can make us successful is the spirit of collaboration.
Yes.
You start a company, you are fixing tires. I'm doing panel building, panel beating, and the other one is running a space shop. You see, these shops, these people, they are not supposed to consider each other as competitors. But as Africans, you know, you can be even jealous for a person who is doing a business as running a space shop. when you are just in tire fixing. What is that? What you need to do, what you can do, you can promote space shop, and that person give you 15%, and he promotes fixing of tire, you give him 15%, and the other person who's selling paint, a car for spraying, a car that is used to spray the paint that is used to spray the cars. And then you also have this person also have 20% in that. At the end of the day, if you see people moving in numbers to shop A, you are doing like this. You are doing like this because what? Because at the end of the day, you are doing what? You are benefiting. If that person also seeing people go into the space shop, but they are not coming to the shop, he's doing like this. He's happy. You know, power of collaboration. The last one. Nothing will ever be right if we are wishy-washy leaders. We must start to take action to see change and growth in ownership of resources. Well, thank you.
Wow.
Thank
wow. Yeah, no, thank you ever so much, Sehloho. Dr. Sehloho, it was a journey what you took us through in that day. And yes, I tried to take as much notes as possible. I've got a booklet here.
All right,
and,
yes.
and indeed, it was a journey. It was really profound in terms of how you placed and encourage us to realize these important issues of discussion, particularly as Africans in that, because half the time we find ourselves crying foul when we miss opportunities such as this, where we need to be enhancing each other, edifying each other, promoting each other to be the best, to be better, to improve our lives as communities, to improve our lives as families, so that we put Africa as a prospect. I don't know where to start, but let me try, because I try to scribble as I go, and I'll just touch on some of the things that you indicated to say. One of the basic, or one of the most important aspect that must be realized for Africa to move forward is to have decisive leaders who have got intent and has got at heart the need to improve the impoverishment of our own, which is our people. You indicated how vast and resourced are we as Africans, and the importance of just having to tap onto those resources is sitting at our palm, basically. And you strike me when you were saying that in Africa, if Africa is right, you said if Africa is rich, that's what you said. Yeah, in resources, it's rich. It's just how we ourselves are able to take advantage of. And maybe in going to the latter part where you even made an example of a lady from Ghana who used a patch of land. Indeed, this is what we as SALGC also are promoting when we are saying you don't really need to have a big farm. You know, in your little yard where you've got, now myself, I've got a garden herb there under the CPA where I avoid to go and spend money at food lovers. I've got a spinach yard. I've got a spinach where I've planted. I've got cabbage. I've got onions. I plant as much possible fruits in my yard, so that these things are sitting at disposal of helping me to be nourished as a person, you know. And these are the kind of things that are sitting at our palm. We often think that like you said, we need to think out of the box. We often think that these things are far-fetched, but indeed these things are close by. I was telling, you remind me when you talk about this, when I was telling a group of gentlemen where we were engaging as men and as community guys in Suluma, Katlehong. And I was saying to the guys that were raising issues to say, but there is no work. There is nothing to look at. And I simply said, but what about the efforts of you doing something such as planting gardens in your own yard? No, there isn't any seed. And I said, no, but you do attend funerals, you know. Yeah. When Bomme are peeling on Friday, you go there and you take the seedlings of a pumpkin. You go there and you take the cutted off ends of carrots. You go there and take the peels of potatoes and you plant. These are seeds that are sitting at your disposal. Really, really, Sehloho, I cannot far exaggerate, but I think you've really, really hit the nail on the head with the indications that you indicated to us. There are indeed opportunities that are sitting with us for us to move forward as a people, for us to move forward as communities, for us to take ourselves serious. As you indicated, we need to stop crying foul, but rather attempt to do better in wanting to improve ourselves. When you were talking about collaboration, I think it is that kind of basics, you know, how you would see the other communities such as the Indian communities work, you know, the Jews, how the Jews are working, the Boers, how the Boers working. These are the kind of things that we need to not shy away and say, we need to learn them and take this very same stance and apply it to our own. You know, if I see that this Sehloho as a person has got a business, I must also be in a position to want to promote his business for my own sake as well, for our community, you know. So really, really, Sehloho, for me, it has been a journey of marvel. I don't know what to say, but let me pause there and open up the mic and hear as to what other colleagues and fellow who have been listening to this discussion as to their discussion point. Anyone who wants to extend a question or at least a word of comment to Dr. Sehloho from the plenary, from those that are listening? I saw in the meantime on the chat box there was a question, and the question read, question to leadership, Sehloho, do you think young people are patient enough for entrepreneurship these days, or they just look for quick cash? That's a question, sir, from Bonga, from Bonga, Bongani Kaba.
Yeah, you know, Joe, there is this poem. Yeah, I think I don't know how can others be able to access to have the details of others, so that maybe by Wednesday that they may have this the notes on this presentation.
Yeah.
In that presentation, there is a poem from Bishop Sehloho's Corner, which is entitled, To Me, It is a Promise of the Pie in the Sky. To me, it is a promise of the pie in the sky. Yeah, now, this is what is happening in our country. So many things seem to be positive, you know, and there are big promises to our young people. And the hope of our young people is dead. No, you said no, go to school, go to the college, And then that is how you are going to eradicate poverty when you come back from there. Unfortunately, my experience made me think twice when it comes to education, because I've got a daughter who has been in university. This is her 4th year and unemployed. And it's so hard. It's so painful. It's heartbreaking, that we create this hope to our young people already. Go to school and get education, get a degree. You will be employed, and then our young people, why do they do resort to crime? They do resort to the fast cash. It's because these things, they take time.
Yeah.
They take time. Do you know how I struggled to get jobs, and I had a lot of degrees behind my name? I was an avid practitioner, had PGC, I had MBA, I had theology degree. If I can put my real resume here, you will see. One day I was so discouraged when I made an application at the bank. I was rejected. And a person who had one of my qualification, not even two, one of my qualification was employed, and mine was rejected. So yes, indeed, our young people, it's not. I don't think it is entirely their fault.
Yeah,
it's a false hope that we have built in them. That go to university, get your degree, and you will beat poverty bye-bye. It's not like that. I was reading one study which was saying over 600,000. It was long time ago. Maybe now then the stats has increased. It's close to 1 million of the graduates.
Yes.
Do not get the job. Who graduate on that year? Over 600 of them do not get the job. So it is when you go to school, you increase your prospects or your chances of being employed, but it does not mean an immediate solution to your problem. And if you have not been taught that, you may end up being frustrated. And what I would like to encourage most of our young people, let them choose their careers that are convertible. A career that you can use for employment, but you can also use to start entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship also need patience.
Correct.
Yes, you know that. Ask me where I am. I said I'm running a real estate company which has over 42 apartments.
Apartments, yes.
Yes, apartments. Joe, if I can tell you how many businesses I started and how many times I failed.
Yes.
There is almost no business that I have not tested.
Yeah.
I've sold Bola Vita, Bohebali, t-shirts, strap shirts, floral shirts, cutlery, food, vegetables. I've raised chicken, and I've had my own garden. I'm trying even online business. I spent a lot of money failing. A good success is a greatest failure.
Correct, sir.
But who learns from his or her
mistakes? Yes. I think what
yes.
you're saying it's true that Sehloho. And I'll take you, leader Sifundo. I just wanted to elaborate quickly to say a culmination of those tested trials for you to be an entrepreneur. I think in answering question here, our leader here, Bongani, to say, is it that our kids or the youth are quick to want to have a shortcut type of setup. It is indeed that, because they fail then to understand, or in any business sector or in any business format, you have risks of possibly failing. But those risks do not mean that you must not stop and recalibrate and then restart again. You know, that is where the problem is. You find that people, once they fail, then they get so demotivated that it is the end of it. Whereas there are many other opportunities that they can look into and utilize the failure of their own to improve themselves in the next Wasnin. Let me take Sifundo Nokutula for a question. Sifundo?
Thank you, Chair or Coordinator. I am a female who happened to join this educative session. I thank God that I met Ubutsipo through church services. I'm a woman coming from the most rural area in Mpumalanga, around Komazi, who's so passionate about rural development, particularly focusing on both men, a boy, and women development. Coming from a community who's so disadvantaged, where kids, they don't have opportunities to go at school. But it happened for me that I had this opportunity. I think we are almost on a similar background with Doctor here.
Nice.
I do have a diploma in ABET. I've started there as well. Then now I'm based in Johannesburg as the head of gender. But in my department, what I've realized is that we are focusing more on women, and yet the problems that the country is being faced with, it needs men to play a part.
Correct.
In order for us to deal with the scourge of GBV. But at the back of my mind, there is this community rural development that I have back at home. I really do have interest of developing a boy child and a woman, because we need each other. You cannot win an economical struggle, the social struggles, and everything that we are faced with in this country in silos. So the power of collaboration, I really appreciate it, because I only met Butsipo through this SALGC institution. I happened to see him doing his interviews, and I have made a follow-up to say, who is this man? Where is coming from? So today I find myself as an only woman who have joined this powerful session, which I'm really being moved. I really want to learn more about NPOs, because we're discussing with some of other ladies back home to say, how can we take this boy child at school? Because you see kids in nowadays, I think we had more than 5 cases in my church where a boy child got raped. And then when we try to intervene, to bring in social workers, parents will be like, no, we'll discuss these things. And I understand how psychologically it's going to impact the life of this young man.
Correct.
And it's so frustrating. And back in rural areas, we don't have these active associations and NPOs who are bold enough to address these issues. So the doctor has touched many issues that are close to my heart.
Nice.
And I really want to appreciate the SALGC community who happened to bring in Unoktola today. I really appreciate it. I'm so educated. I'm so powerful. Wow. I feel like I can scream. Unfortunately, I've got flu. I've been in Brazil. So if when the doctor touches up issues of entrepreneurs, this is what I've discovered in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, that 80% and 90% of the businesses they are from the entrepreneurial sectors. So if we can allow ourselves to turn our hands so dirty in empowering ourselves, so this poverty we can defeat it. Correct. If we pray enough as churches, we go beyond being a church that deals with certain and excluding certain social issues, because there is a life after church. There is life before church. We need to be concerned about the people who are coming in church. How best do we create job opportunities so we deal with issues of poverty as well? So I don't know, I can speak the whole day. I can speak the whole day. So thank you so much. I think it wasn't a mistake that I find myself here. Thank you so much.
Great stuff. Great to hear that, Nokuthula. And by the way, as SALGC, we do have what we call Friends of SALGC. These are women who are like you, who come in and are quite impressed and are quite keen to working with us. And we say, hala, we are really, really keen to want to have you into that Friends of SALGC. Let me give an opportunity to Sehloho to make a comment. Sehloho?
Well, thank you so much. You have been really a good audience, really, and I've enjoyed to be part of this. And I really appreciate, the work which SALGC is doing. You are doing a very great work and a work of empowering. Instead of staying in the corner and blaming, starting to blame and crying, but at least you are doing something. And I think as Africans, if we want to see ourselves moving forward, you need to take law into your own hands, not law of murdering someone, but law of saying, I'm the driver of my own success. Correct. I come from a very, very, very poor background, if I may tell you, but that did not deter me from working on myself. Even as a pastor, as I've already indicated, there were times when I was earning 10 Rand from the church, 1,000 Rand from the church. Today, most of the money that make living for my children does not come from the church. I make it myself. I've not made myself a responsibility of somebody. People pop out and give whatever they are able to give as an offering to God and appreciate my service, but that is not solely what I'm depending on. So each and every one of us, we need to be accountable for our own destiny. We need to rise up, and the bright future, it is us who can make it.
Nice. Let me go to the chat box. There's a note, or at least a comment from Huawei Nova Y90. It says, thank you so much for invitation and commitment to organizers. It was worth listening to speakers. I'm so encouraged to start taking action to our purpose as men and Africans. Thank you ever so much. That is so great to hear, and that is the intent in terms of us engaging in this kind of format. And we really like to take this opportunity once again to thank you, Dr. Sehloho, for your times and for the effort that you have done in researching and collating such a magnificent discussion, a lecture on the purpose of us as men, as well as engaging us on the opportunities that we can unravel by mere tapping on the potential that we have as Africans. And you've discussed quite an array of things that sits in our disposal as individuals to make ourselves better. I thank you ever so much. Let me also put a word of appreciation to Nokuthula, Sis Nokuthula, to Temba, to Huawei Nova 90, to Bongani Kaba, and to those that are listening also on the other platform. We really, really appreciate. In that, your last parting words, sir?
As Africa, we need not lose hope. As Africans, through God's help, we can make it. Let us hold our hands together. There is a bright future ahead, but we are the one who can determine that. We are the one who can build that. So I don't know. I've got a lot of free materials that I would like to give away.
Yeah.
All people, I don't know where I can leave my email for all people who like to get the notes of today. And then as you get the notes of today, there are other materials that I can give you for free, like Think and Grow Rich. I think I've got over 6,000.
Wow.
I've got over 6,000 material that are meant to empower the entrepreneurs. So anyone who want, whether it can be videos, audios, ebooks. My company owns over 358 courses for personal development and computer studies. So I'm available. If you want to get to today's resource as well as other free materials, I don't know where I can put the details.
Yeah.
What even if I can give.
Yeah, what we can do, Doctor, is that we will be posting this lecture on Facebook on our page, so you can go ahead and give that email address. We appreciate it very much, sir.
Okay, email address or even my website. If a person just leaves there is a section for leaving your personal details.
Correct.
Yeah, those who wants the notes, presentation notes of today, as well as other free materials from BSTLCS Empowerment and Academy.
Nice.
You have been a very good audience. I've enjoyed to be part of this exciting journey.
Thank you ever so much. Thank you so much, Ntate Sehloho. And we hope not to only have ended discussion with you here, but looking forward to also having you next time again with a different take. As you know, we've got 5 pillars. So we are excited. We are happy that we have you on board, sir. And many thanks also to the audience. I've seen Wiseman. He has indicated that he's a Wiseman on that Huawei Nova. We thank you so much, Wiseman. We thank you so much, Temba. We thank you so much, Sis Noktula. God bless you and have a wonderful week ahead of yourself. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye. Thank you.